How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and I have been checking out Lost Ark recently. I've learned a lot along the way, and if you're like me, a new player who hasn't been playing on the Korean or Russian servers for the past 5 odd years or so, you're gonna have a lot of questions when you start in the game. Things are gonna be confusing, so I want to give you my top 10 things I wish I knew. These are gonna be tips for leveling, and they're gonna help you out a lot, trust me. So make sure to pay attention here and take note of some of these, because it's gonna answer a lot of questions that you're going to have from a normal player's perspective while leveling up. So the first tip that I'm going to have is do the main story quest only. And when I say only, I actually mean only. I was given this advice and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, mainly do the story quest, the main story quest, but I'll mess around with this little side quest because it's just right there, right? No, don't do it. It's a mistake. It's a trap. You get all of the XP you need to reach the top end or the max level where you can start progressing your gear by simply just doing the main story. This leveling process consists of running from main story quest, watching a cutscene, and then running to another main story quest and watching that cutscene, so on and so forth. So a main story quest is indicated by orange when you first start the game. Now this is going to sound a little confusing. So if you see right here, this has an orange quest here. When you hit about level 40 or so, once you get on this ship, just remember, when you get on a boat, the quest will change from orange to a light blue. I don't know why it does this, but your orange quest, your main quest, becomes like the main story process of finding these arcs, Lost Ark, whatever it is. No spoilers there, but you will be following this light blue, this tealish sort of quest as your new main story quest. But up until level like 40 or so, you don't have to worry about that. So just follow orange quests only. Go from every orange quest to each orange quest and do nothing but that. And then once you get on the part where you start getting the teal quest instead of the orange quest, that just becomes this static general quest, then you just follow all the teal quests until you unlock the final story progress, until you need to upgrade your gear. So that's going to be a very, very big and important thing. Trust me, don't stop along the way to smell the roses. Don't stop to mine something. Don't stop to do any special event quests in the area. It's all irrelevant. Just go main story quest. All right, so that's going to lead me on to number two. Number two is make sure that you get a pet. It's going to be very important. Some of the Founders bundles comes with a pet. My pet is the little cat here, Nero, who came with one of the Founders bundles. So he's going to give me a lot of great bonuses like looting items, auto-looting items, as well as some crit and HP. And he also has some other functionality where you can repair and use the mail and some other crazy stuff like that. So this is something good to use. I believe some of this comes with this crystalline aura benefit, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but essentially it's sort of like a monthly subscription that allows you to do some extra ease of access things. But the pet is going to be something that's very important. If you're not somebody who purchased a bundle, do not worry. There is a quest for a pet, and it is this one right here called Guide Learning About Pets. You're going to access it very early on. It's just going to ask you to do something simple like go talk to somebody in one of the starter villages or towns, and then you're going to get a bunny rabbit pet, which is going to allow you to do the same thing. So this is going to be something that you're going to want to do, so make sure you press your J button, which is the journal. You can go over to the guide quest, find this purple one that talks about pets. Once you have it, I think you get it around level 10, 15, somewhere around there. It's super early. But make sure you take care of that, because it's going to be something important for you. Running around manually looting items is terrible, and not having the bonuses is just a shame, so make sure you go ahead and check that one out. So we're going to move into number 3, which is going to be do the normal version of all the instances, cutscenes, whatever that may be. It'll ask you to do like a little dungeon, little instance. It'll give you the option between a normal mode and a hard mode. And if you look at the hard mode, it's like, ooh, you get a purple item and you get some special stuff. Do not do it. It's like 3 times as hard. It wastes your time, and the item is not even that great. You're going to instantly replace it like 2 minutes down the road with a storyline quest item or a random monster when you transition the zones. So it's all completely irrelevant here. All you're worrying about about is just getting to the max level so that you can start getting into the systems that are in the game, and we'll talk about that later, because there is so much here. There's like 5 years worth of stuff to like download and process, and if you're a new player like me, it's going to get overwhelming and frustrating, trust me. So I'm going to be making guides from my perspective, just sharing you all the things that I've learned, and be like, oh my gosh, this was a pain for me, so don't worry, you're not alone in that. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. Normal mode, not hard mode on dungeons. The fourth one is going to be to fast travel everywhere that you go. With the Crystalline Aura, you should get a free fast travel wherever you go. It doesn't cost anything. I believe without the Aura, you have a small fee of silver or something like that. I have quite a lot of silver. I've never used silver for anything, so as far as I know, it's kind of irrelevant. So whatever that fee may be, it's probably going to be better than just the time spent running from point A to B. But if you just press M, you can open up your map and you can fast travel to any fast travel point you've already done. You can also do it to other places as long as it's on the same continent, so I can find anything in the area, and then you can look at your map here and sort of scroll down in the different zones. So like if I wanted to check out an earlier zone and I wanted to fast travel there, I'd be able to do so as long as I was on the continent that zone was on. There are boats later on that get you to different continents, but for the most part, you can just simply click like Alt on the map as well. Like if you see something like here, you can press Alt and then click it, and it will let you teleport as well if you pull Tab up for your mini map. So you can do that either way, and fast traveling from point A to point B is going to be the best way to go, especially when you have a quest. Like if I were to click on this icon on the right, whenever I'm tracking a quest like this main story quest, it'll pull up the map for me, and it'll tell me that, hey, my main story quest is over here, like on the right side. It's really close, so I might want to just go ahead and teleport to the nearest teleport and get there very quick. It's going to save you a lot of time, and literally your entire leveling process is running from point A to point B and watching a cutscene. So it's all about movement and traversing the map correctly, and that's going to get you to the place where you want to be, where the real game starts and the end game, right? So that's going to be it for number 4. My next one is going to be number 5, which is going to talk about a system that I think the game does not explain very well. It kind of indicates to you that this is a thing, but if you press F2 in the game, it's going to pull up a song menu. You're going to start getting these songs as you level up. It's kind of like Zelda or something, like an ocarina, and you'll get like a song of, whatever, Song of Storms, whatever it may be. There's different songs that do different things, and there's going to be this handy song called the Song of Escape. It's one of the first songs that you get. It's really early on in the storyline, probably like a little 15 or so, maybe 10. But it's going to allow you to escape from a dungeon or an instance. What the game does for some reason is once you clear a dungeon or an instance that it wants you to do for the main storyline, it will just awkwardly let you be trapped there or set there, and you're like, so what do I do now? I guess they want you to play the song to escape the dungeon. So you could just simply just click on it and hit play. And if you have the Song of Escape active and you're in a dungeon, it will return you to the beginning or the entrance where you walked out of there. And a lot of times that's exactly where the quest giver that you just got the quest to go into the dungeon is located. So this will save you a lot of time along the way. There are several different songs, especially ones like one that will get you to your stronghold, which is sort of like a WoW garrison or your home that you can kind of design. And then there's also a Hearthstone built into the game that will allow you to teleport to a city that you have set as your destination home. There's also one that allows you to travel to a main NPC, the Song of Trixion. So again, that's just press F2. There are a bunch of songs. If you're ever stuck, one of these songs will help you, especially the Song of Escape. So make sure to keep that in mind. Now we'll go ahead and move on to number 6 on the tips. I would say to save any consumables that you get that are percentage based. Also save any consumables that are like a grenade or an effect. So the only consumables you want to be using while leveling are these potions that say they restore a set amount of HP over time. the potions that have a percentage base of HP are incredibly valuable later on, and you do not want to waste these. So do not accidentally use these potions. Only put the potions on your bar that have a set amount of HP, because they are going to be useless in the end game when you get a high amount of HP, because using a potion for like 2k or 1k when you have like 21,000, 26,000 health is pretty much irrelevant, right? Like, you don't want to waste it on that. You would want an HP percent potion, so that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. And you'll get a lot of these like grenades and cloaks and shields and stuff. Just save all this. All this is going to be useful later on. It's not something you need in the early game. And when we talk about these consumables, I'll also mention these feathers. You can click these feathers to add them to your total at the top. It will allow you to revive if you've died, but please don't use them if you don't have to. Now, I get it if it's a long walk and you're just like, I don't want to mess with that. I understand that, but don't, just go crazy using them all over the place, because that's going to be something that's going to be very useful for you later on. Okay, so now that we have talked about number 6, we're going to go on to number 7, and that's going to be dismantling items. I actually didn't know about this for quite a long time. Many of my friends were just stuck here. We're like, what do you do with all these items? So at the top left of your inventory screen, if you could just click sort items, and that kind of helps it a little bit better. But you will hit this button at the bottom called dismantle, and you will then see anything that is eligible for dismantling. There are these little stones, but I would just save them and hold on to them for now. But what you could do with all of this old gear that is not an upgrade for you, an upgrade would be indicated by a blue arrow in the bottom right hand corner. If it doesn't have a blue arrow, then it is useless to you, and you might as well just throw it into the trash and dismantle it here. So we're just going to add every single thing that is not something that we are using into the dismantler here. And then we're going to dismantle this, and what that's going to do is give you a lot of space, So you'll go ahead and hit at the bottom here, go ahead and hit dismantle, and then you'll hit OK to proceed, and then you will receive some items into your inventory. You just hit accept all, and what these items are just simply some things that allow you to sell them for cash to a vendor or a broker. So I have a lot of them in my inventories. They have 999. I can walk up to a vendor and sell this for a decent amount of silver, and silver is just something that I would use for like maybe small HP potions if I wanted, or some gathering tools if I was interested in doing that, or I guess fast traveling if you don't have the crystalline aura, so that could be something that you could do. So again, that's just located if you open your inventory with I, you can hit dismantle in the bottom left. The game doesn't really tell you per se about that, but it's very useful, so make sure that you do that so that you can clear up your space. And talking about space, your pet also has inventory, so we talked about number 2, the pet thing before. Make sure you do that, because your pet can also pick up extra items for you. So that can be something in case you're running really low, right? There is like a main storage in each town. You can also put items that you feel you're not going to use for a long time inside of there, and I would recommend that, because that can be very useful. Okay, moving on to number 8. It's going to be use all of your cards or gold symbol rep items. There's going to be some items on the bottom that will say like, it'll have like a double gold card looking thing. You can use those. Those are reputation items for the land or for the level. It's not something that's particularly useful, but you can kind of look here. If you choose your continent, each continent will have a sort of reward system for getting reputation in that area. So you'll see a lot of these items right here, like Solar Salt and the Oath of the Bandits. And if I go to the starting town, these are the ones you'll find, like this little statue. It'll be like a key or something, or little spores, but it'll be indicated by a double gold thing in the bottom right. So you would just click that and use that, and it just gives you reputation, so you can collect some rewards for each of the territories. It's kind of simple on that. And then the other thing would be the card system. This one's a little weird, but basically you'll get these cards in your inventory. They will literally look like playing cards. You can right-click them and use them, and then you will add them to a side. You can also select your cards by bringing them onto this palette and just dragging and dropping them. So you can just go down here in the character, the roster system, and just go to card catalog. The hotkey would be Alt-C for that. And then you can drag whatever cards that are part of a set over here that will give you set bonuses. So that's just like a little bit of information about cards. I think for leveling up, I got this first set, so it's like a generic one that everyone gets, so you can just drag it on there to get some slight resistances. It doesn't amount to much at the end of the day. It's like 6%, but damage reduction for elemental, but it's something, right? Like, and then there's all kinds of other cool cards. There's like legendaries. I got a legendary card, so it's kind of fun to see and collect these little things. But they do have different set bonuses for each set for the respective cards, so that's something to take an eye out for. So now we'll go ahead and move on to tip number 9. You can respec for free at any time. You can just simply press K and you can minus or add skills into there and then just go ahead and level them up. When you level up a skill, it gains damage significantly, quite a lot actually, so the skills that you level will be very powerful. The skills that you do not level will be very terrible, and I can tell you that for sure. But you can simply respec at any time. So just because you've looked up a guide that says the best in-game guild is, or a build is this thing where it supports your team, I mean, don't care about that. Just go full damage, get whatever gets you through the content faster, all the DPS you can, and then you can just simply respec it at level 50. If you want to get used to the skills that you feel you're going to use in the end game, that's something you can do as well, but it's not super necessary, so really just have fun with it. Try every skill out, level up the different patterns. You can respec and take these little tripods on the right side, I think is what they call them, and all these different skill levels. You can move them up and down, see which one does more damage. You can mouse over it and read what it does and kind of get a feel for it, but it's all completely free, which I think is a really good thing to do. So great job by the developers on that, but that's something that's nice, so you can just check that out and just play around with it as you will. So don't feel like pressured, like, ooh, did I put the wrong skill in the wrong point? It really doesn't matter at all, so you don't have to worry about that one too much. And then tip number 10 is going to be to find a good guide from a veteran Russian or Korean player. I've looked at a few myself. I just kind of scout around for information because there are people that are much more qualified than me that have been playing this game for the past 5 years and going crazy on it. And I know that it's there's a lot out there, right? You can do things wrong, or you could do things right, and that all starts at a level 50 once you have progressed through the story content. But until you get to that point, you don't have to worry too much about it. So coming in as a fresh player, I know that the release is coming on the 11th of February, so about one more day or so, and then everybody will be, the floodgates will open and there'll be some people coming in here. Just focus on leveling for now. You can worry about chaos dungeons and abyss dungeons and all these islands and crazy stuff and gear score later on, but just kind of get a good feel and a good guide on what all of this stuff is going to do for you. And there's tons of information out there. I will go ahead and give you some quick TLDR guides. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. I am not a super expert by any means, but I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to make a guide on it and say, hey, look, this was the gist of it, the TLDR, the super easy peasy North American player version, right? That's all we have to do is this, and I'm going to give that to you, so you can check forward on the channel for that from time to time. That's going to be it for this one, everyone. Thanks for your time in watching the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button if you haven't already for more Lost Ark content, as well as New World content, which we also cover. We will be coming out with some more New World content here in a day or so, covering a different some of the changes that have come through and some more mutations, as well as finishing and following up on some of the mutation guides for that. So make sure to look at that. We'll also be checking out some other games like Elden Ring and different stuff in the future, so this will be a great place for that. If you haven't already, we have a Discord and a Twitter in the description link, so you can follow us on social medias there, as well as a join button for the channel if you wish to become a member today and get some benefits on there. Thanks for your time and watching the video, and we will catch you in the next one.